Another C.D.C. production.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Canine Development and Culture. Glad to see you guys here today. Today we talk about the Italian Cane Corso versus the American Cane Corso. DNA doesn't lie, and we're going to talk about the truth about both populations. I hear a lot that the Italian population is more romanticized and more pure and a Roman war dog. We've talked about this in my original Corso video that I will link in this in the bio for this video. So I don't want to kind of backtrack and go over it too much. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it now and then come back to this video. Firstly, I want to talk about the Neapolitan Mastiff. It shows up in majority of the DNA for the American and the Italian Cane Corso. This breed is crapped on a lot by a lot of different Corso breeders, and I don't get why. Of course, you know, it may not be appealing to most when it comes to the loose skin and the big frame and the heavy bone. I personally love this breed and haven't owned it but plan to some point in my life. This dog is the forefather of the Cane Corso, down to the good side of the Cane Corso with the harder temperament, you know, the good guardian instincts, the bone, the wrinkles, all because of the Neapolitan Mastiff. I hear a lot of people say that the Corso and the Neo are the same breed. That is entirely far from the truth. Neapolitan Mastiff came before the Cane Corso. In some literature, you can see where it says there was no split of the breeds way back in time, but the Neapolitan Mastiff came first. This dog has been heavily bred within itself, so it is one of the most homogeneous and most purest blood dogs out there. I do have DNA proof and profiles of this, but I'm not going to share that on this video. It's not a Neapolitan Mastiff video, it's a Cane Corso video. But let's continue on. The second most known dog to be in the Italian population is the Maremmano Abruzzi, which is a sheepdog, a herding dog, you know, a flock guardian, if you will. This is what gives the Corso kind of that trait of being a coursing dog or a dog that can protect the herd and, you know what, be like somewhat like a sheepdog. This is where that comes from. That's why we also see some Corsos with the longer coats because of that. And some may have to do with some English Mastiff blood due to the English Mastiff having St. Bernard crossed into it to bring the breed's population back up. But mainly with the Italian blood, it's Maremmano. There are more breeds similar to like the Abruzzis, which is not as rare, more common, but within the dog's population of the Italian Cane Corsos. I'm going to show a full breed look at the DNA profile of the American and the Italian once I get through some more breeds that show up in both lines. Next up, of course, is the Boxer. This dog is still notorious for being seen in a lot of different Cane Corsos today. You see a lot of Corsos with that boxer snout and that headpiece and the eyes. It is crazy how you can still see it to this day. But these dogs are so-called pure, ancient, and untouched, and are Italian ancient Roman war dogs and farm dogs. It's all BS. Now, they were used as farm dogs, don't get me wrong, but all this ancient talk of the dogs being old and thousands of years old and fighting with the Roman people, no, not at all. Stop it, please.
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
Finally, for the Italian Cane Corso, we'll talk about the Bull Mastiff, as I am going to show a full breed DNA profile of the Italian and American Cane Corso. But to talk about this, there is also a Bull Mastiff phenotype where the snout is more smashed in and the dogs can't breathe that well. And they also have some health issues, as the Bull Mastiff is prone to some bone issues as far as bone cancer and cancer, skin cancer, what have you. With the smashed in snout, this also keeps the Cane Corso from being the Cane Corso, a dog that catches and holds prey. Um, Honestly, in all with the Italian Cane Corso, I love the Cane Corso as a breed, and I love some breeders. I'm real close with some breeders. Shout out to y'all if y'all watch this video. Um, it's more of just how the practices are going. We still see some people crossing certain breeds and certain mixes to Cane Corsos and say they're helping the breed's population by creating a more traditional type dog. And I disagree. You're hurting the cause more than you're helping. I'm not a breeder, so I can't give you too much of what I would do. But when it comes down to it, there is right from wrong. And some people are more of doing it towards their vision of what they think is right rather than coming together to help buckle down on this breed's DNA and get a uniform look. Now, as far as the American dogs, the American Cane Corsos, I've kind of touched on them before, so I don't want to, really sit here and give you some information I already put in the video. But we know that Rottweiler, American Pit Bull Terrier, and Neapolitan Mastiff was the basis of these dogs in America, and that's where we see the 10-point dogs come from with the Rottweiler and maybe some American Pit Bull Terrier blood, as there is some 10-pointed APBTs. But these were some famous dogs back in the day. American dogs were producing some pretty good dogs, as well as the Italians, but there also was a downside of the dogs being more nervy and some of them not having the best structure or health. But that comes with breeding and creating certain lines of dogs. But just to say, all in all, to down one and put up the other is absurd to me. They both have mixed history, and they both come from a lot of lies. But honestly, I don't fault the breed for that. But next, I do want to get into the DNA profile of these breeds and what shows up and what's the truth within these dogs. Because a lot of people like to hide it, but I'm here to show it. Firstly is the Brittany, a sporting medium-sized dog, a bird dog. The Neapolitan Mastiff of U.S., the Neapolitan Mastiff of Italy. The Italian Cane Corso, the Boxer, the Bull Mastiff, the English Mastiff or Mastiff, the Borbal, the Rottweiler, the Bordeaux, the Bulldog, and the Saint Bernard. This is the USA Cane Corso's DNA profile. And like I said, this is from the Human Genome Research Institute. You can find this on Google. I found this. I felt like it was good to share it, just to put that type of information out there. A lot of people don't know the truth about these things. But this is the dog's DNA. This is what the Human Genome Research Institute found within these dogs today. Now, that is over 11 breeds for one population in the U.S. That's absurd. It should not be that much of a variety, but here we are today. Right there was about 11 breeds that I just read off to you. That is absurd for a dog that is supposed to be a breed within itself. But the Human Genome Research Institute doesn't even label the dog as a breed. It's more of a type because it has so much variety and so many different breeds within it. But there's still people that are not doing the dogs justice. Like I said, we still have people crossing the dogs with other cross dogs, saying that they're helping and trying to get the dogs back to the traditional look. If we're going this hardcore to get a traditional look of the Cane Corso, that we are crossbreeding different dogs that are not even tested or we don't even know their background, then we might as well just pull the plug on the whole operation. Because to have this much variety in a population of dogs is absurd. But now we're on to the Italian population of Cane Corsos. Because y'all not off the hook. Y'all think y'all are better because, I don't know, because you're foreign or your bloodline is foreign. That does not separate you. You guys have a lot of outside blood, a lot of variety within your dogs also. And I can't respect it. So let's look at the list. First, Neapolitan Mastiff of the USA, Neapolitan Mastiff of Italy, the Cane Corso of the US. Oh, wow. Okay. Boxer, Bull Mastiff, Mastiff, or English Mastiff, what have you. Bordeaux, Borbal, Bulldog, Saint Bernard, Feral Hound, Iberian Hound, wow, and German Shepherd. There's a couple Italian breeds. I didn't have enough room to read their name off and put them on here. But also the Chinook, and that's, once again, there's so much variety. And as I tally up how many dogs the Italian Cane Corso includes, it's over 11 compared to the USA Cane Corso. And actually 18 different breeds that are within the dog's DNA. Insane. Absurd. We've been led astray. I've been led astray for a long time. Unacceptable, honestly. 18 different breeds within one population of dogs in Italy. But you guys look at the USA dogs and just turn your nose up like you guys are perfect. You're pure. You're not. The DNA shows it. It proves it. And I've even looked at a kennel that a lot of people look up to and praise for being, a leader in the community of this. I'm not going to say any names. I feel like I've kind of stooped down to some people's level making this video, even though I was spitting nothing but facts. And a lot of people wanted to hear my perspective on this and what I had to say. But I hear my name too many times. And I wanted to continue to put that information out there that some don't like for the wrong reasons and share it with those that like it for the right reasons. These 3 dogs are from one kennel, and they all look different. They have similarities, of course, because they're the same breed, but they all have differences within the same line from a kennel that is said to be one of the most sought-after breeders in America, that has produced many champions that have also been said to be all different looking, even though they are champions of the same kennel. Like, I mean, it's tomfoolery at this point. The people that have things to say about others and the opinions they throw out here when your plate isn't clean. Well, that is generally it from me for this video. It was short. I have an interview coming out this week, or it may already be recorded and posted of this past week. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it wasn't boring to you. I hope you liked my content. And I hope you liked, shared, and subscribed. And I hope you learned something from this. And this video, once again, was not to deter you from a Cane Corso. I hope you get one. I hope you do your research. I hope you find a good, reputable breeder. Contact me even, and I may be able to point you in the right direction. But yeah, protect yourself, guard your heart, sharpen your mind, and yeah, that's it. I mean, subscribe to Canine Development and Culture, and be blessed. I love you all. Thank you for your support. Shout out to the day ones. Shout out to the new ones. And shout out to the fake fans, even though I thought we had an arrangement. And until next time, let's continue to better our minds and dogs.
Another C.D.C. production.